after months of anticipation, it's finally here. The dreaded world which is renowned for breaking similar PvZ challenges of the many YouTubers before me. Of course, I'm talking about the Dark Ages. Every level in this world had to be meticulously planned in order to get just a sniff of victory. So you guys are just going to have to watch on to see how I pull this off. Anyways, welcome back to part 6 of my series where I try to beat all of Plants vs Zombies 2 using only fruits. And once again, please everybody watching, get comfy, because the strategies that I implement in this video is like nothing we've ever seen before throughout this entire series. Before this world has even started, we run into the first major obstacle of this whole video. The Dark Ages main gimmick is that no sun drops from the sky. Now, in normal playthroughs, this isn't much of an issue, especially because during this world, we unlock many mushroom plants. However, unfortunately for us, we need to be a little bit more creative. Other than the 75 sun that we're gifted at the beginning of every level, how do we actually get some? Well, the short-term answer is simply these gravestones that drop 100 sun when broken and spawn before and during most levels. My initial plan for breaking these gravestones and actually getting some sun in return was the squash, who by technicality is actually a fruit, and also you guys didn't seem to mind me using him, but unfortunately plan A miserably failed. The squash can only deal damage to attacking units, but nevertheless it's still a pretty useful cheap instant plant. Also, every time I use him I get to play this clip.
Relax, I'll handle it.
I am the angry pumpkin.
So in my opinion, it was 100 gems well spent. Now, if you're actually watching this video so far and not just playing it as background noise, you would have noticed a new fruit pop up multiple times. Of course, I'm talking about the imp pear. What this fruit does is turn any basic zombies into imps when eaten, but even better, killing any imps when eaten, stunning all zombies in that same lane. Because this plant has such a fast reload time and is also completely free, for the first bit of this world, we're actually able to only use imp pears and spend no sun at all. However, that's not very entertaining, and I can't afford to lose any more viewers. So instead, I came up with the plan of using the lava guava's plant food to break these gravestones, giving us 100 sun and access to the solar tomato. This allowed me to actually get quite substantial amounts of sun and build up some really solid defense, even in these first few levels. With these newfound tactics in place, night 1, 2 and 3 were all taken care of with ease. Even though night 3 had 0 sun gravestones, we still were able to beat it because of the excessive amount of plant food in this world. Night 4 was the first conveyor belt level of this world, introducing us to a bunch of new mushrooms, even the one from Mario Kart. On night 5 we run into the Jester zombie, who's able to return to sender any of our plants' projectiles. This zombie massively counters quite a lot of our plants, but luckily plants like the imp pear and kiwi beets that don't shoot projectiles are able to easily counter this zombie. That being said, the Jester does constantly appear all throughout this world and is actually quite a big threat later on in this video, but for the time being he is manageable. Night 6 was a plan your defense level that, what a surprise, was ripped apart by the Jester zombie. It wasn't a difficult level, only being one wave long, but it does show the insane power that the Jester actually has. But anyways, after that we unlock whatever this thing is. Honestly, whoever at PopCap designed this thing must have been running so low on creativity. Like, generally I'm nowhere near an artist, but still could have come up with something better than this goofy yellow Fall Guys character. Anyways, on night 7 no sun graveyard spawn, meaning we have to beat this entire level using only imp pairs. We're also introduced to these new extremely tanky zombies, but luckily they're no problem for the imp pair. On night 8 we're not allowed to pick up plants, so we make use of the sun shroom, who is extremely overpowered, especially in this world. Another clean sweep on night 9, but we're actually introduced to this world's second gimmick. In some levels these potions pop out of the ground, making zombies stronger, faster and just better in general. In any normal playthrough this would be quite a big threat, but these potions have little to no effect on the impair. It's another conveyor belt level on night 10 and the first time we see the Dark Ages Gargantua. All things considered, we're halfway through this world already and everything's been pretty standard, so I'm not really sure why you guys were so worried about this. And I've already spoken too soon. The first huge difficulty ramp of this world starts on night 11, and it's not because of my butterfingers mistiming instant fruits, but instead the wizard zombie. These hairy twats are the bane of my existence. They turn my fruits into these fat retarded sheep who just stand still and eat the rock floor somehow. Luckily my strategies don't revolve around this zombie too much, mainly dealing with them using the squash, imp pear plant food and of course the lawnmowers. Anyways, the second huge difficulty ramp of this world was on night 12. It's our first protection level of the Dark Ages, but instead of having an actual good endangered plant like the star fruit or the citron, we had to protect this fucking shitty little bitch twat F***ing dickhead mushroom. Sorry, my bad, I forgot. This is a PG chat. Anyways, the reason I found this level so difficult is because there's just absolute chaos happening all the time. I've mentioned this a lot before, but my tiny smooth brain just can't focus on all these different things happening. And I'm also not good at this game by any means, so when I have to pay attention to the impair cooldowns, gravestones, incoming zombies, mushrooms killing themselves, and also the amount of sun I have, I think it's quite understandable why I get so overwhelmed. However, I did eventually develop a strategy which, I can't lie, is actually pretty decent. Firstly, I had to deal with the wizard zombies, who spawned in massive numbers. Luckily, placing any dragon brutes as the backline of defense meant that they wouldn't be turned into sheep, and focusing my impaired plant food on the wizards with some occasional help from the squash meant they weren't as big a threat as I originally thought. Also, a feature of this game that we saw back in ancient Egypt is that imps will often spawn from gravestones, and using the solar tomato on these big groups of little zombies helped me to get loads of sun. And all of these tactics led us to eventually beating it after longer than I'm willing to admit. Anyways, on night 13 we had a conveyor belt level that really opened my eyes to how god awful the peanut is. Honestly, I feel bad for anyone who's ever had to use this plant for whatever reason. After this, on night 4 we had to produce 5,000 sun, with the only added help being the excessive amount of sun gravestones. Now, I could sit here for 3 minutes and explain to you lot in detail the specific tactics and complicated mechanics that I used to beat this level. However, I would be lying. I literally just attempted this level over and over and over again. Although it was really difficult, I managed to get a fluke attempt after about an hour and somehow beat it by the skin of my teeth. So I'm not going to relive the trauma that this level gave me and swiftly move on to night 15, where I bring back this insane electric current setup. To be fair, the wizard caused me a bit of trouble on this level, but still nothing that this overpowered defense can't take care of. After unlocking the magnet shroom, we move on to night 16, where we encounter a new type of zombie. It's this fat ginger king who looks really familiar. I can't lie, he looks like he's had one too many quesadillas. Anyways, he turns regular zombies into bucketheads and knights, which can be a bit overwhelming. However, the Dragon Brute hard counters this guy, so we're in the clear for now. Night 17 was another one of these gimmick levels that, surprisingly, was pretty easy. We were actually gifted so much plant food and sun, I was able to make use of the wintermelon, which, honestly, I did not expect from a world like this. We were barely able to beat night 18, another irrelevant level, because yet again, we weren't even allowed to pick our plants. Anyways, we move on to night 19, the last proper level of this world. This time, we have to protect these 3 magnet shrooms, who are basically placed on the front line of our lawn. It did genuinely take me a long time to beat this last level, but that's mainly because of my incompetence and not the actual level itself. All you need to know is that the squash was good at squashing. Pretty standard stuff. And just like that, the 7th world in this series has yet again been beaten with only fruits. Although Zomboss had to be beaten normally, I think we've done pretty well all things considered. Often YouTubers that attempt similar challenges to myself will fail this world or bring in a gimmick to make things a bit easier. But still, with no consistent way to get sun, we somehow managed to beat the dreaded Dark Ages. Thanks again for everyone watching these videos and giving me all your support. It's nice to know that my videos are actually benefiting other people and building a sense of community. So if you want to see more, liking, subscribing and commenting is probably the best way to do so, which means if you haven't already, I would really appreciate for you to subscribe. It's literally free and you can also change your mind at any time. Anyways, I'm super excited now that we're in the end game of this series. This hopefully means that there'll be more exciting gameplay. I just don't want to spam impairs and kiwi beasts every level. But other than that, I'm sorry again that I took so long to make this video. I promise I'll try to get the next videos out as soon as possible. I want to try stick to monthly uploads at least, but I am very thankful that you watched this video to the end nevertheless. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and stay tuned for the rest of this series. See ya!